Moving into a new house is supposed to be one of the happiest milestones in life. Fresh keys in hand, boxes of dreams, and that hopeful spark that says, "This is all mine now." Well, my move-in day turned into a full-blown neighborhood spectacle, all thanks to Karen from the HOA. It was a sunny Saturday morning when I pulled my rented moving truck into my new driveway. I just closed on my first home, a modest but beautiful single-story house in a quiet suburban neighborhood. It had a small porch, freshly painted shutters, and enough yard for my dog, Max, to run around in. I'd spent the last 2 weeks packing up my tiny apartment, calling in favors from my cousins and best friends. We were sweaty, hungry, and blasting old-school hip-hop as we carried boxes of clothes, furniture, and my grandmother's antique dresser up the walkway. About an hour into unloading, I noticed her, Karen. At first, I didn't know her name, of course. All I saw was a woman in her mid-50s, perfectly pressed khakis, a polo shirt with our neighborhood's HOA logo on the chest, and a permanent scowl frozen on her face. She stood on the sidewalk, arms crossed, staring at me like I'd parked a UFO in her rose garden. I gave her a polite wave and a good morning. She didn't wave back. Instead, she pulled out her phone and started taking photos of me, my friends, my license plate, even my dog. "Can I help you?" I asked, wiping sweat from my forehead. "Can I help you?" she snapped. "Who gave you permission to be here?" I was so stunned I actually laughed. "I own the house," I said, nodding at my front door. "Just closed on it this week. I'm moving in." She squinted at me like I told her I was building a secret bunker. "We'll see about that," she hissed, then stomped back across the street to her house. I shrugged it off. I figured she was just a nosy neighbor who liked to supervise. About 20 minutes later, as we were wrestling my couch through the front door, 2 squad cars rolled up with lights flashing. At first, I thought it was a joke. But no, 2 police officers got out and approached me. Karen was standing behind them with her arms dramatically crossed, glaring at me like a villain from a bad sitcom. "Sir, can we speak with you?" one of the officers asked. Karen jumped in before I could answer. "Officers, I saw him breaking in and stealing things. He has a truck full of furniture he's clearly taking from the real owners." My friends and I just stared at her, speechless. "Ma'am," I said, trying to stay calm, "I am the owner. This is my house." The officers asked for my ID and proof of ownership. I pulled out the closing documents I'd thankfully left on the kitchen counter. While one officer read them, the other tried to calm Karen down, which was impossible. "I've lived here 25 years, she barked. "I know everyone on this street. He doesn't belong here." At that point, my next-door neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, who'd introduced himself earlier, walked over. "Karen, he does own the house. I met him this morning. The Smiths sold it to him last week." Karen looked like she'd swallowed a lemon whole. The officers confirmed everything checked out, apologized for the trouble, and told Karen she should probably mind her own business next time. She stomped off without so much as an apology. Meanwhile, my friends and I spent the rest of the afternoon telling every neighbor who stopped by what had happened. Some brought cookies and offered their sympathy for my welcome to the neighborhood disaster. In the end, I got moved in. And Karen? Well, she still glares at me whenever I walk my dog. But I just smile and wave because this is my home now, HOA Karen or not.